A single blue flame sputters beneath a dented camp stove, its glow the lone heartbeat on Anchorage's snow-slicked riverbank. Around it, the night is a wall of black glass, the air so cold it crackles. Every exhale hangs like ghostly ribbon before vanishing, and the man crouched by that flame counts seconds, not minutes, because minutes at negative 25 degrees Fahrenheit can steal fingers, toes, lives. He is one of thousands who bed down under nylon tonight, despite Alaska's oil fortunes and postcard landscapes. If the last frontier can't keep its own from freezing, what hope do the rest of us have? Stretch a map of Alaska across your table, and you'll see why isolation bites harder than ice. 730,000 people are scattered over land twice the size of Texas. Whole villages are reachable only by bush plane or boat, each trip hostage to weather. In the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta, roofs sag under snowdrifts, water pipes split, and a single propane fill-up can drain 2 weeks' wages. When those villages fail, families drift toward the glow of Anchorage or Fairbanks, only to discover that city shelters, already full, cannot stretch to meet rural collapse. Distance once promised frontier freedom. Today, it's a moat that traps the vulnerable on both sides. Then comes winter, a 4-month siege when darkness rules 20-plus hours a day, and mercury sinks past minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Beds at Brother Francis Shelter and its overflow sites top out near 1,200, but demand surges far beyond that before sunset. The emergency refuge inside Sullivan Arena offered a brief reprieve during the pandemic, warm showers, real floors, even laughter. But when it closed, hundreds spilled back into alley tents and parked cars that transform into ice coffins by dawn. Staying alive becomes a tactical marathon. Layer thrift store quilts, vent the stove so fumes don't smother you, and set alarms every 90 minutes to stomp warmth back into your feet. One mistake, and winter finishes what hardship began. Money should be Alaska's armor, yet the math cuts like sleet. A one-bedroom apartment in Anchorage hovers around $1,400. A gallon of milk can flirt with $5, and that's when planes land on schedule. Tourism, fishing, and North Slope oil jobs swell wallets in summer, then evaporate in fall. The 2024 oil price slide shuttered rigs and trimmed paychecks, while this year's lean state budget clipped social service grants just when demand hit record highs. For single parents, elders on fixed incomes, and laid-off deckhands alike, one busted radiator or medical bill shoves them over the cliff edge into homelessness. And winter doesn't wait for paperwork. Indigenous Alaskans know that cliff edge by heart. They represent roughly 15% of the state's population, but more than 40% of the unhoused. Generations carry scars from boarding schools that split families and muted languages. Today, overcrowded homes in remote villages force young adults toward cities where cultural safety nets don't exist. In Anchorage shelters, drum songs sometimes echo off concrete walls, small acts of defiance against a system that never fully saw them. Even so, tribal housing projects stall behind endless forms, and elders swipe at frost forming inside their bedroom walls. Survival here isn't just about warmth, it's about proving your story still matters. Now, climate change turns hardship into quicksand. Typhoon Merbok in 2022 gnawed 30-foot chunks from western riverbanks overnight. Melting permafrost buckles house pilings and ruptures fuel lines, leaving families to choose between firewood smoke inhalation and bitter cold. Newtalk's headline-grabbing relocation, $150 million for higher ground, delivered moldy modular units and generators that fail in sub-zero dark, teaching every coastal village a cruel lesson. Rescue money arrives slow motion. Disasters hit full speed. Each storm, each thaw, pushes new refugees into cities already gasping for space. Where the land hurts, so do the people. Alaska leads the nation in alcohol-related deaths, and fentanyl has threaded its poison into even the tiniest towns. Veterans battling PTSD, teens fleeing abuse, Elders numbing chronic pain. Many self-medicate because detox centers are hours away and wait lists stretch months. A new "one pill can kill" billboard campaign shouts warnings, but warning signs don't warm you at night. Addiction here is less a choice than a freezing current. Step in, and the river carries you unless someone on the bank throws a rope. Alaskans, stubborn as the mountains, keep throwing ropes. A pocket-sized micro-unit complex, with on-site counseling and heat you can trust, is rising on city land before the first autumn gale. Fairbanks is piloting solar-powered tiny homes. Juneau churches rotate into overnight warming centers like clock gears. Volunteers sew sleeping bags from denim scraps when donations run dry. Housing first models such as Carlick Manor prove that handing someone a key costs less than ambulance rides and ER visits, but funding never stretches far enough. So neighbors improvise. Crowdfunded propane, yard sales turned mitten drives, and a constant stream of strangers offering rides to appointment miles away. Picture, finally, a girl no older than 7. She stands in a shelter hallway, tiny boots dripping meltwater onto linoleum, while her mother fills out intake papers. The child's coat, donated, swallows her frame. Still, she cups its sleeves over her hands like treasure. She isn't calculating state budgets or weighing oil futures. She just wants to feel her fingers tomorrow. In a place where daylight can vanish for months, such small hopes are northern lights in miniature. We call Alaska the last frontier, but perhaps it should be our first arena of action. If a land hammered by blizzards, earthquakes, and cultural wounds can carve paths back to dignity, every other state has fewer excuses. The flame on Ship Creek still flickers, and in the deep dark of subarctic winter, one spark can carry astonishing distance. The question is simple. Will we feed that flame, or watch it die?